Good morning, everybody. An early edition of the BoricuaBc2 show morning report. I'm your host, Bill Cancel. It is 5:38 in the morning Eastern time on Monday, April 21st. I've only been up for 2 hours, and man, is there a lot to talk about already. Top stories that we'll be looking at today and this week. Number one, of course, the unfortunate passing of Pope Francis. That was announced earlier this morning, right after I got up. I started to see skeets about that, did some confirmation checking to verify that it was true. And sadly, he has passed away. It's all over the news now. So we lost a good man there. And then right after that, the Pete Hegseth Signal Gate Part 2 has now surfaced. So apparently he sent Yemen attack plans to family members, his wife, his personal attorney, and others. This is just, again, another example of complete and total incompetence on the Trump administration and on Hegseth, and it's just getting from worse to worse. The Pentagon has been reported to be in complete disarray, not just specifically over this issue, but just in general since Hegseth has taken over. This is something that needs to be fixed quickly because we cannot have a Pentagon in disarray. That puts us in a very weak position militarily, and we need to fix this as soon as possible. My question about the Hegseth issue with the part two is, did he issue those war plans after the fallout from the first signal gate issue? Because if he did, that's blatantly criminal, right? Because he knew that he should not have done that, and that was just a blatantly criminal act. Or was this second release part and parcel of the first accusation that was made a couple of weeks ago? Both are bad. Don't get me wrong. Neither should have happened, and I'm not justifying in any way, shape, or form that they should have happened. But I'm just suggesting that if he did this one separately after the fallout of the first one, that really proves to me criminality. He knew what he was doing when he did it, so he has intent, and he should be dealt with accordingly. Other things we're watching for, obviously, this week, the markets were closed on Good Friday, so I don't know what to expect today. The tariff trade war nightmare is in just like the Pentagon, in total disarray and total chaos. I don't know what the markets are going to look like today. They could be up, they could be down substantially. We're just going to have to kind of wait and see until this whole thing plays out. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Harvard University is facing potential $1 billion funding cuts. That's a big number for Harvard to lose, and I get it. But I applaud Harvard for standing up and basically saying we don't care, we're not going to capitulate. Harvard is not Trump University. We all recall what happened to Trump University. It was a fraud and it was a complete failure. So Harvard has the right to run the school the way they want to run the school, not the way the president wants them to run the school. That's not what this is about. That's not what our education system is about. So expect to see more of that coming. Also, I'm very, very curious to see what happens this week regarding the Supreme Court and the deportations. Trump seems to be eager to get those buses to planes and planes to El Salvador. The Supreme Court says no. I don't think this is going to be something that's going to take, a month or two to figure out in classic SCOTUS fashion. I think that there's a pressing need and an urgent need to get this resolved as soon as possible. So I would not be the least bit surprised if some ruling comes down this week on this, positive or negatively, to impact the Trump administration. If SCOTUS was smart and had half a brain, they would shut this down completely and say that's it. No further deportations without due process. That's it, period. Whoever they are, they have to have due process. You can't collect them off the streets. You can't arrest them. You can't, you can arrest them, of course, but you can't just put them on buses and take them out of the country without due process. Just can't do that, right? So I'm not even sure if arresting was the right word to use back there that I just said, because you really have to have, to arrest somebody, you have to have proof that or be suspicious that a crime has taken place, right? So, just having a tattoo, I don't think that justifies a crime took place, right? So I think SCOTUS has to very clearly delineate, what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do, and be very specific about that. No, don't use fancy, generic, generalized words like facilitate. Facilitate is a very generic, generalized word. Be very, very specific on, if you're going to suspect somebody of a crime, you have to have these things. If you're going to arrest somebody from a crime, you have to have these things. If you're going to deport somebody for an immigration violation, you must follow these processes, right? And that includes due process, right? And then Trump's going to have to decide what he wants to do. Does he want to back off, or does he want to defy SCOTUS? And we're already seeing Republicans liking a particular post that came out the other day on X, saying that we should just defy the court orders, and Trump should look to dissolve the Supreme Court. That's when democracy ends completely. So my gut tells me he's not that stupid to take on dissolving the Supreme Court right now. I think that's his radical MAGA idiots out there who would like to fantasize about that. So let's see where this all goes, but hopefully that'll happen this week. And then our darling vice president, and I do say that with extreme sarcasm, is in India for a 4-day talk about balancing trade and addressing tensions between the United States and India. I would expect to see lots of hiccups coming from that because JD is no diplomat. So it should be interesting to see how he goes through the week. So more to come on that. So that's the day in review, folks. I hope you got some good information for you this morning. It's Monday, start of a new week. It's going to be another crazy week already. If I'm doing the morning report at 5:43, we're having a crazy week already. So enjoy, have a great day, and I'll catch you all guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.